Good morning. Welcome to our regular board meeting of Tuesday, January 20th. I will call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The consent agenda includes 16 items. It was published and copies are available. If you'd like to discuss an item, it will be moved to the regular agenda and comments can be made at that time.
Chair,
Yeah, that's right.
I move to approve the consent agenda and authorize the chair to sign documents as required.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is to consider the agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Jennings.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Announcements. Any announcements? Moving on to public comments on matters not on the agenda. I don't have anyone on the sign-in sheet, but does anyone have anything for us this morning? Okay. Item 6. Consider one appointment to the Sheridan County Historic Preservation Commission to fill an unexpired term running through June 30th, 2028.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move to appoint Ronnie LeBlanc to the Sheridan County Historic Preservation Commission to fill an unexpired term running through June 30th, 2028.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Madam Chairman, I thought that both candidates were exceptionally well qualified that we interviewed. They were both very good, and I wouldn't have an issue appointing either one of them. I prefer, of the two, I preferred the military expertise of Mr. Wolf. But I wouldn't have a problem with either one of them. But so you know, this puts you in an uncomfortable position when there's two candidates and you have to vote this way. But I guess I would prefer the other one. I thought both of them were excellent candidates.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, Commissioner Jones.
I would agree with Commissioner Siddle. They were both great candidates. My reasoning for Ronnie LeBlanc putting him forward was just simply the kind of personality. And I thought that his personality might mesh a little bit better with historic preservation, but both of them great candidates. And even if Mr. LeBlanc is not chosen and we choose Mr. Wold, I think that either one will be fine.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
guess I would agree and echo with Commissioner Siddle. I know both of these guys a little bit, and I would think Mr. Wald's experience with military and some of those issues would be a great asset to the Historic Preservation Commission.
I did appreciate some of the work he went to do on his own, his land trust experience, Salvation Army, like his nonprofit kind of board experience, but yeah. Both would be contributors, I believe. So with that, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, consider request for additional funds to replace the jail
Madam
service.
Chair, could you please clarify the vote for me? I'm sorry, I missed that.
4 was Commissioner Jennings, RZ, and myself. Against was Commissioner Siddle and Commissioner Wright. I would call on Mark Ramber, our IT manager.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Levi Dominguez, Sheridan County Sheriff. I'll speak to this since this is, for the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office. Last week, I think both Mark and I, presented to you that this is a priority issue. Our jail server, we got one server that's right now running 94 cameras within our jail, operating really slow. Mark's team went out during the budget session and thought to replace that. They didn't get a great bid or a bid that was forthcoming. That individual that did bid that is no longer with that company. And so that we initially have $10,000 that we can put towards this, but it's going to be an additional $45,000 to replace that server that will meet the requirements of statutory requirements for retention laws and things like that, and it could fail at any moment. So we're just asking for an additional $45,000 to replace that server.
So Levi, I just had a question. And our motion reads 43. So 43, okay.
Is it okay? Yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, the final, okay,
And that probably was through the final bids and stuff.
sure.
And Mark's team did a great job going out and getting different bids for that.
Okay. Any other questions for Levi? Look for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, that's right.
I move to approve additional funds to replace the jail server not to exceed $43,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner
I
James?
did have a question for Sheriff Dominguez. Just a real quick one, though. In here, it says that you're anticipating additional incidentals of up to 3,000. Just clarification on if 3,000 is not spent, will that just be returned to the general
Yeah,
fund?
that's just, we just put that in case we have to order additional things. We don't anticipate that there's going to be
Okay.
much, if any. But we just wanted to make sure we had that. If we ran into the issues or additional things we had to buy, we just wanted to make sure that was available, but we don't anticipate that there will be much, if any, beyond the 43,000.
Thank you very much. And as far as the motion is concerned, I think this is such an important security issue that we do need to take care of it immediately, because, if that goes down, it's not just putting our detention officers in danger, but also any court cases as well. I'll be in favor of it.
Right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving on to Office 365 licensing upgrade. We'll call on Levi.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioners, good morning, Levi Dominguez, Sheridan County Sheriff. This is, spoke to you last week on this as well. Mark, and his team, updating Office 365 with the Sheriff's Office. We don't currently have that in the sense of, and so it needs to be updated for all of our users within the Sheriff's Office. This is something that's required by insurance, I believe, as well. When it comes to the multi-factor authentication of different things that we have to log into and things like that. And so I believe it's an insurance requirement to meet that need. And so that is an additional $12,000 a year for that to be upgraded within the Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Any other questions for Levi? Pretty straightforward.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just for clarification, what's being asked right now is actually $5,651.
Right.
If it's for next year's budget, it would be for 12,000.
Got it.
Thank you for that.
And I'm guessing that this would be in Mark's budget when he comes back.
Yeah, so all of this is coming out of IT's budgets, but I feel like I should get up here and speak and take some of the.
Like, thanks, I.
In my office, so in my office, yep.
Yeah. Okay,
Madam Chair,
yes.
Sheriff Dominguez, that 12,000 a year, that's not gonna be $12,000 more. It will be just an increase to the current budget item. Correct.
In the upcoming years, it would be an increase of 12,000 per year for the
Okay.
Office 365 licensing.
On top of the current.
On top of the current
Okay.
license payment, yeah.
Thank you.
Look for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
I move to approve the Office 365 licensing upgrade request for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $5,651 $1.10 for the remainder of fiscal year 25-26 and future recurring annual cost of approximately $12,000, which will be taken care of during the upcoming budget session.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair, I would just add, I was cleaning out a drawer yesterday at my office and I found, I think it was a model year 2000 Office 365 and happily donate.
Yeah, believe me, I like those days. It seemed like it worked a lot better at some point, but unfortunately, that worked.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the only concern I have with the motion is putting in there about the recurring costs, because we don't know what the budget is going to look like in the next year. Could we simplify that just to this particular request? And then we approve budget when it comes around
I thought I made that as part of the motion that it would be visited in
for
the
the budget.
budget.
Did you say, okay, I thought you were putting them.
As part of the motion, I added in terms of being approved in the upcoming budget.
Perfect. And I
Okay.
just missed that. All
All
right,
right.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now we're moving on to item 9. Consider item CU-25-008 Smith RV Campground, CUP, and I'll call on Mark Reed, County Planner.
Madam Chair, your last meeting, this item was tabled. I don't know if it's in order to take a motion to untable it. Is that parliamentary?
You need to?
Wayne, I think if you don't have any rules of procedure, since you put it on the agenda, I don't think you need to take that off. You've already got it on. the
Done it by doing, putting it on.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, at your last meeting, you had considered this item and with the conditions written in staff report, the commission at that time requested the applicant bring forth some rules regarding operation of the campground. I think you have a copy of it. At your previous meeting, there was concerns expressed by the board regarding, I think it was length of stay, whether this was becoming a housing project and that type of thing. And I'm looking at these, and I don't necessarily see anything addressing lengths of stay in these rules. Not saying that they could not be amended further, but anyway, at this point, I really don't have anything else. If you make these rules a part of your motion, which I hope you don't, because we don't have time to go up with the campfires, fireworks, pathways, those types of things. I would hope that these rules in and of themselves do not become a condition. If you do approve the CUP, I think that's my only comment on this. Any question?
Madam Chair, Mark, if this is approved today, if we find that there, we're getting complaints about long-term residents in there, would this be something that would come back up in a year to discuss again?
No, Madam Chair, Mr. Jennings, no, there's nothing in the CUP at this time that would require that. There's nothing procedurally in our rules that requires that a CUP be brought in unless you make that a condition. I suspect you insert that as a condition that you review it after a year. I don't know, but there's nothing in our rules. They do have to make diligent progress in terms of pursuing the CUP. They have to actually put it to that use within a year's period. But there's no standard review by the board after a year unless you insist that that occur.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions for Mark? If not, I'd look for a motion and a second for discussion.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
move to approve item CU 25-008 Smith RV Campground CUP with the 8 conditions as listed in the staff report.
The motion
Second.
and a second. Thank you. Discussion.
Madam Chairman, I see that, although this doesn't require a, public hearing, I see that Rick Smith is here. And if I may, is it okay if I ask Rick a
Please.
question?
It's great.
Okay. So Rick, you did give us a listing of the rules. As Mr. Rick said, one of the things that weren't in the rules was a length of time stay. And the other thing that I didn't see in the rules is, like Mark said, certainly we don't want a compliance officer out there checking on the status all the time. I didn't see in your rules how they're going to be enforced. And if you could tell us a little bit about if you are going to consider a length of stay time, and then how are you going to enforce the rules? Who's going to enforce the rules?
I will enforce the rules, and up at the top after the,
Pull that mic right up to your.
Yeah, you can lift that
Yeah,
up.
there you
Thank you.
okay, I will enforce the rules, and at the top where I have date, that's where I'll put the date that they come and that they're leaving. I want to keep the yard clean and available for events. I plan to have more events, bring in more bands and have concerts. And so I need the power and the spaces. So when I do have events, people can bring their campers. In the winter, they can bring their snow machines. In the summer, maybe bring their horses so they can go up the trail. So no, I'm not looking for long-term housing. I could have that. I had that at one time with the mobile home in the yard. And I've turned down many offers to have another mobile home there. The campground spots makes much more sense for the operation and preservation of the Lador for the future. And I'll just kick them out if they don't follow the rules. I'm not gonna put up with anything I don't like.
Any other questions for Mr. Smith? I appreciate you getting back to us with this letter of rules. Unfortunately, I feel like we're doing a little too much massaging to try and make this work. I just, because it's community core, and this still feels a little gray to me. I'm gonna go with the planning and zoning recommendation and vote against this. Which doesn't mean you couldn't come back and have those details in this. But I just don't feel like it's quite the way it needs to be right now. Okay. Oh, Commissioner Jennings?
Madam Chair, Mr. Smith, my biggest concerns were the idea of the 1,000 foot septic tank. I'll get there. Versus the 1,200. But I do see that this could be really good for Story to allow, there's so many people that go up there, and it's kind of one of those communities that everybody loves to visit. I'm going to take your word on this, that this is not going to become long-term housing. Because I think that is a very big concern with the septic tank. So I'll be in favor of it, but cautiously.
The septic tank is more than adequate for the 6 camper spots. And I don't anticipate, well, there'll be occasions, hopefully they'll have all 6 spots taken, but they won't be taken all the time. Especially in the winter.
There's no water in the winter, correct?
I do have water, but yeah, they would have to, I have it in the rules, they'd have to disconnect it when it's gonna be below freezing, so it doesn't freeze up. They're hydrants, so when you shut them off, they shut off below grade, below frost.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item CU 24005, Gregson Polo and Guest Ranch UP extension request, and I'll call on Mark Reed, County Planner.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, Mark Reed, County Planner. We have a request from Bill Gregson regarding extension and time on this application. It was originally approved to C 24005 Gregson Polo Guest Ranch on July 2nd, 2024. Sheridan County approved C 24005, expanding a polo guest ranch located approximately 9 miles south of Sheridan on US Highway 87. Section 28G of the Rules and Regulations governing zoning in Sheridan County, Wyoming provides conditional use permits shall be valid for 1 year from the date of approval unless construction is commenced and diligently proceeded towards completion. No construction has occurred on December 24, 2025. The zoning administrator issued a notice of lapse of approval for the CUP. On January 13th, 2026, Mr. Bo Gregson submitted a request to the board to extend the permit for 1 year. Should the board approve the request, staff recommending that such be subject to the conditions as originally adopted, and that a new building permit be obtained prior to construction. Those conditions are listed in my memo of January 22nd. And then you have a letter from Mr. Gregson as well as from his counsel for Brayton. That's all I have. I believe the requestor is present. And if you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Ms. Gregson. Any questions for Bo?
Madam Chairman, I do have a question for Mr. Gregson. One of the things when this was brought up to us in 2024 that concerned me, and I still think about it, is the shared driveway that you have with the Liveys.
Mhm.
One of the things I'd like to look into, and I wanted to just get your opinion, is I'd like to put another condition on here that requires that all vehicular and trailer access for the 5 new cabins that you've got would go through your north driveway instead of going and using that shared driveway.
Yes, and that's actually my plan for the use of the property is all, for those 5 cabins, all the access will be on the northern road approach.
Okay. So, Madam Chairman, I'm not sure, do I need to do this after we have the motion or before to add a condition?
I think you would just add it to the motion.
Okay, so I'll amend the motion when it comes up to it, but I will be bringing that condition, but I'm glad to hear that you're amenable to that.
Yeah, the Liveys are great neighbors. They put up pay for me every year. And I do want to consider it to their driveway as well. So
Thank you.
that's why I put a northern road approach in, is to actually get the traffic out into the property.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
So Bo, has YDOT approved your northern approach? I knew at the last time YDOT did not approve the condition of your approach.
That's been one of the delays, honestly, Mr. Siddle, is I hired several people to try and get this constructed right. So that's my biggest concern is I want to do this correctly. I don't want to just shoehorn something in. I really want it done professionally. My first dirt contractors failed. They didn't build it to the specs. And so I'm currently working with YDOT. I've hired a local engineering firm and I'm still waiting on a design. It's just been kind of one delay after another. It took their surveyor 3 months to show up to survey the road approach. So those have been reasons for the delays, is I've hired professional people that unfortunately weren't the quality that
Weren't
they.
quite as professional.
Unfortunately, yes. But, so I'm working with YDOT to get the commercial road approach fully approved. And then I bought the building from Cleary. I'm on their schedule end of April to have it built. And I apologize. I wasn't aware there was a 6-month timeline on the building permit. That's my error. I didn't have that information piece. but I am working diligently. I hired surveyors in the summer to come out and mark everything. And then I had 8 guests this summer, 20 had outside horses. So it was kind of busy this summer.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, I couldn't remember that YDOT issue and if it was the location of the access or,
They didn't build the side slopes correctly.
Okay.
They didn't do it 8-to-1 grade.
okay,
They did more like a 16-to-1 grade. And so that's been a problem. And then my fence contractor had trouble sourcing the pipe. That delayed things. And then unfortunately I had to move on from him because he just didn't deliver. So.
Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
was going to move to approve item CU-24-005, Grayson Polo Guest Ranch CUP extension request valid for 1 year from today's date.
Second,
and,
and
sorry,
then
excuse
Polly
me.
wants to make an amendment, correct?
Well, we wouldn't have to make an amendment if we just made the motion right in the first place is my.
Okay, I'll withdraw my second and let Commissioner Wright finish.
By the way, he will use the north entrance
Thank you.
for all the traffic for his 5 cabinets and et cetera, so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? Right, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Get to work, Mr. Grayson.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. All right. Item 11 is to consider item PP-25-003, Sackett subdivision preliminary plat. And I'll call in Mark Reed, County Planner.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mark Reed. Again, at your last meeting, you tabled further consideration on this preliminary plat, Sackett subdivision. They have since revised their variance request regarding the access road to include a 20-foot access road within a 40-foot easement to provide access to all 7 proposed lots. I believe they've done some additional design revisions regarding drainage along the western perimeter there. And I'm not going to go into much detail. So if you have any questions of staff, try to answer them. Otherwise, I believe the agent for the applicant is present as well to go into further detail.
Hey. Morning, Drew.
Morning, Madam Chair. I do have, I want to go through some of the updates that we've made. And I have a PowerPoint together for
If
that.
you can really get into that microphone, sorry. I know you lowered it a little. There you go. That's perfect. Thank you.
So I guess, summary of this project, it's a 14 acres to be subdivided into 2 plus acre lots. And there's irrigation water rights from the east ditch, and on-site septic systems will have to be designed by a professional engineer. And then the access easement is a proposed 40-foot private road easement, and it will have private maintenance. Go to the next. Go to the next one. Updates on this, so the variance request is changed from 25 feet to a 40-foot private access easement, and that will also be a public utility easement, so it's for easement for the utilities as well. We moved the private access road further away from the property lines centered within that 40-foot easement, so that gives additional space from
the edge of the road to the property lines where the road is adjacent to the neighboring properties. And then also last week I met with MDU and discussed the easements with them, and they gave a verbal approval of that. So it's just a matter of getting the letter from MDU in North Dakota. But they said the easements that were drafted on this most recent plat. It's just, there's a couple screen captures of the updated plat. I believe you pictures have seen. The alignment of the road generally stays the same. And then we have a updated project map and easement. And we went through this with the commissioners and kind of showed a proposed house and septic to show that there's enough room on these properties. And even by going to the 40-foot, it made it a narrower by 15 feet. So it does squish it down a little bit, but there is still room. These are big houses and these are the maximum septic areas with replacement areas. So based on, go ahead.
Sorry, you said those were 5,000 square foot?
Around 5,000 square foot footprint, so that would be $100. And then the drainage plan, the goal of the drainage plan is to make sure that we don't want to have, or we want to make sure that the runoff after this is developed is less than or equal to the redevelopment runoff. And we will be proposing, we haven't done the drainage report yet, but we will be, any areas, if it is going to increase, we'll put in a detention pond and hold that water back and release it at those pre-development rates. And that's typical with drainage design. And then also that sensitive areas next to the adjacent houses and against that west boundary. So it'd be the upper boundary on this side, where lots 5, 6, and part of 7 are. We are proposing to put in ditches on both sides of the road. And on the next slide, I'll show that one. But the plan that there is to, there's some low areas in there, and we want to make sure that the neighbors are not getting more water, and we'll be sending or diverting the water from going on to into their backyards and causing issues. And then there is through the main section of, I'd say the middle section of this road, it's on a slope, and we are not proposing to do ditches along there because it's right next to the NP gas line, and they said that that gas line is not very deep, so we don't want to cut down and then have to go off and run into issues with that gas line. It's an 8-inch line. The typical road section, the one on the top would be the road section with the ditches on both sides. And then the one on the bottom would be that when we're cutting through the slope, it kind of shows the grades getting back to existing. So essentially at the center line of the road will be real close to existing grade, and then cutting into the uphill side and filling on the downhill side. The variance request, so the dead end street variance request was approved at the last meeting. The private road, 40-foot access easement instead of 60-foot right away, sorry. That will need to be considered as well.
Any questions for Mr. Humboldt? Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah, the typical drawing up on top here of this drawing that I'm looking at referring to, but that only refers to the area of lot 5 and lot 6 and lot 7 and parcel of lot 1. But lot 2, lot 3, and lot 4, I mean, you're still going to bring in material, you're still going to have a raised road there. I'm assuming that That's correct.
Correct. Other than on the uphill side where it cuts into that slope, we'll be removing material from there. I would say if we needed to put ditches in, we could. We just have to be very careful.
Yeah, we've kind of, when I went through that, I shared with you on deals like that, but you're still gonna have a typical road section if. So this template here that's up on top is gonna kind of be your template all the way through on this road, is that not correct?
I guess I can get into that more in detail as we do the design, but
Okay.
so for lot one, there's ditches along both sides or through a portion of it. We want to make sure that the water gets to the natural drainage areas. And then those last three, or the last three lots, once we get to that property, there'll be the ditch alongside there. So that middle section will be so lots 2, 3, and 4 would follow this lower typical section.
But you did mention that on your testing for runoff, that comes in the final, and we'll see how you're gonna mitigate runoff in the final
Correct.
In the
Well,
phase of
drainage
this. Is
study.
that not correct?
Correct.
That's what I thought. All right, thank you.
So, Madam Chairman, Mark, so this is the preliminary plat. We still, down the road, will have the option of the final plat, to actually approve the final plat before the subdivision is built. So hopefully by then, we will have the real good drainage plan, plus the DEQ will have looked at it, plus we'll have all that stuff in place before we approve the final plat. Is that correct, Mark?
Madam Chair, yeah, Commissioner Siddle, that is correct. This level of detail typically doesn't come with a preliminary plat because of obviously the comments that were made by the public. You wanted to see them, and that's fine. But yeah, as you say, the final drainage design and those particular aspects will come with the final plat. You'll have a chance to evaluate them at that time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner.
First of all, I wanted to disclose that I did go out and speak with Mr. Bush, the owner, and Mr. Hamla. And I really appreciate you driving me around on the property and the fact that you guys took into consideration some of the big concerns, of course, the road and more along the lines of the drainage aspect. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I am interested to see what the drainage assessment will look like if it goes to a final plat. I'll be in favor of this today because of that.
Thank you.
All right, we do, if there's no other questions here, we do have a couple comments from the public. Lynn Custis and Mike Rathbun, whoever wants to come up first. And I will add, we all had a chance to go out there in different shifts to look at the property. And we did receive Mr. Murphy's letter. I don't know if folks had a chance to see that.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Lynn Custis, and I'm a resident on Pleasant Valley Lane. Sorry. So I do appreciate the fact that they have widened that road and increased that easement on the side. I still do have a question regarding water easement from the first first head gate down there. Even though it's not currently in use, those folks on the lower end of the subdivision do have rights to that water. If that easement isn't in place, what would that look like for them moving forward? It sounds like the drainage is being addressed, which we appreciate that as well. I agree with Commissioner Jennings' comments. It will be interesting to see what that looks like at the end in the final plat. Will that drainage then go into the natural drainage areas that currently exist on the east side of our subdivision? I think the last question I have still comes back to what is the hardship in not following the 60-foot road easement? I know that Mr. Murphy references that in his letter as well. He wasn't able to attend today. So that's really the last comment that I have. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'm Mike Rathman. I have the house on the west side, the only house on that side. Mr. Bush came out, spent some time. I saw lots of your vehicles out there. I was wondering what was going on. I would, I have the first house, and Mr. Bush said he could give me some extra space, but if you drove there, you know that at one place it's about from me to you guys on the far north end. He said he'd give me some trees or something like that. I would just like Ms. Custis just said, the 60-foot road would be better. But I do appreciate Mr. Bush coming and visiting. And the last meeting, one of you stated this would have been maybe avoided had he visited with the neighbors first. Very nice man. I don't have a problem with what he's doing. I do have an irrigation ditch in my property on the far north end. It hasn't been turned on for the last 2 years. And if people want water, I believe it's the Rosenblums that have the property to the west of me. He's not turned the water on and I haven't missed the water. All I do is have a mosquito swamp out there. So, but that's a consideration that isn't in the plan, that water does flow and it creates quite the slough on lots 2 and 1. So thank you for your time and I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Any other questions? If not, I would look for a motion regarding the variance.
Madam Chair,
Commissioners,
I move to approve the variance for a 20-foot access road within a private access easement of 40 foot versus a public road right of way of 60 foot.
second. A motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Homela, the letter from your engineering company, and you spoke about MDU earlier, and I didn't quite catch what you said. You have an oral agreement with MDU? And do you know what an oral agreement is worth? Like you asked Mr. B probably what an oral agreement is worth. It says specifically that MDU has indicated that this main must remain in an MDU exclusive easement with no roads or other structures built above it. But you have a plan here where you're gonna drive over it.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Wright. So I sat down with the local MDU folks and they have to get these letters from the corporate office or someone in North Dakota. And they said they have, the local offices support what our plat shows right now. So we are just waiting for that letter before the final plat. And ultimately, they will have to, I guess, vacate that easement, the existing easement that's on there and replat this one. So I guess the timeline on that, we will see. Yeah, I guess we'll need to get that before final. So I got it. And then I guess on the, as far as crossing the gas line, they said they didn't want anything paralleling it over top of it, but they were okay with the road crossing it and also utilities crossing it. Just they didn't want it over top of the entire gas line.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Moving on to approval of the preliminary plat, I would look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve item PP 25-003 second subdivision preliminary plat application as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I would just add, I really appreciate the work that's gone into this before it even came to us as in a preliminary plat. So, yeah.
And Madam Chairman, I'd just like to remind everyone that this is not the final plat.
Yeah.
So we still have a look at the final plat if we want to, make some other decisions on it at that point in time, we still have that opportunity.
Right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 12, consider lessor's consent to sublease between Bighorn Airways, Inc. and Bighorn Flying Company, LLC. I'll call on Robert Gill, Airport Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Robert Gill, Sheridan County Airport Manager. In the spring of 2024, Bighorn Airways sold its agricultural division to Bighorn Flying Company. Throughout 2024 and 2025, Bighorn Airways maintained a sublease agreement with Bighorn Flying Company for the area and equipment used to support aircraft agricultural spray operations with an expiring term ending December 31st, 2025. This sublease required Sheridan County's consent, as outlined in the FBO agreement dated January 2nd, 2013 between Sheridan County and Bighorn Airways. Bighorn Flying Company is now requesting to extend the use of the space for one more additional year, and Bighorn Airways is willing to accommodate the request. Both parties have agreed to an amended sublease agreement to extend the term through 2026. This lessor's consent to sublease authorizes this extension to proceed. Therefore, I respectfully recommend the Sheridan County Board of County Commissioners to approve and consent to the amended sublease agreement between Bighorn Airways, Inc. and Bighorn Flying Company, LLC, and authorize the chairwoman to sign the associated documents. I would stand for any questions.
Any questions for Robert? Chair, yeah, Commissioner Jennings.
I move to approve and authorize the chair to sign the lessor's consent to sublease between Bighorn Airways Incorporated and Bighorn Flying Company, LLC.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Robert. Our next item is to consider the MOA between Sheridan County Emergency Management Agency and Farmers Co-op of Sheridan. And I'll call on Jesse Leachhouse, Emergency Management Coordinator.
Thank you, Chairwoman and Commissioners. Yes, the Emergency Management. Today I'm requesting your approval of a memorandum of agreement between Sheridan County Emergency Management, Farmers Co. and Farmers Co-op of Sheridan. This agreement establishes a framework for priority access to fuel during emergencies such as extended power outages, severe winter weather storms, flooding, and other large-scale incidents. As you know, fuel is critical to lifeline during emergencies. Our first responders, public works, utilities, and other agencies cannot operate without it. This agreement does not obligate the county to purchase fuel, nor does it guarantee availability beyond what is reasonably possible. What it does ensure that when we activate the Emergency Operations Center, we already have a coordinated relationship with a local provider who can prioritize emergency needs. Under this agreement, Farmers Co-op will provide updates on fuel availability, coordinate deliveries when requested, and when asked by the EOC, make reasonable efforts to reserve up to 50% of their available unleaded fuel for emergency operations. This helps prevent disruptions to response efforts and supports continuity of essential services. This MOU does not give away county authority or commit funds in advance. It simply formalizes coordination between a disaster, coordination before a disaster happens. When we still have time right now to plan, I recommend approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Jesse?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Jones?
Jesse, I think this is a great idea, certainly planning ahead. Is there any intent to do additional MOUs with other possible fuel suppliers in town?
Sure, I have absolutely no problems with that if they're willing to work with me with those reserves. The big challenge is having the availability to deliver things like diesel and other needs on a quick basis. Some of the other fuel operators are larger corporations that it's a little more challenging to deal with if you're dealing with large corporations.
Sure. To answer Commissioner Jennings, one of the reasons we are going into this agreement is because the co-op is putting in a backup generator. So none of the other facilities that offer fuel were able to pump any fuel. So without that generator that they're putting in, we wouldn't at this point of even wanting an agreement. So that is the key that allows us to do it. If we see that from others, then yes, we would be doing MOAs with them as well.
I appreciate that answer, Kim. I'm always of the mind, one is great, two is better, three is even better than that, so, but I appreciate that. Makes sense.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
I move to approve and authorize the chair to sign the memorandum of agreement between Sheridan County Emergency Management Agency and Farmers Co-op of Sheridan.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? This makes a lot of sense. Thanks for you and Cameron's work on this, and Clint, I'm sure was in there.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't already have this, but yeah, it's great. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jesse. Now we will consider the cooperative forest road agreement between Sheridan County and the USDA Forest Service Bighorn National Forest, and I'll call on Ken Muller, County Engineer.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Ken Muller, County Engineer. Just a little background. This is a renewal agreement. It'll be the third time that this board supports it, that this agreement has been in place. It goes for 5 years. Roughly about a little over 10 years ago, the Forest Service approached the county, and we have 3 roads up there on the Forest Service that are fairly, some of them are short, some of them are long, but a lot of property, and the Forest Service kind of wanted to be involved in not only projects that we might have that work on these roads, but also the maintenance of these roads. And this agreement kind of spells out who does what. They want to be involved. Just for example, they want to be involved in all the informational side, which makes sense because it's their property and it's their recreational that they're trying to get people to get to and stuff. And then also vegetation management along the road. They want to be involved in that. So got no problem with that. It's welcoming from our crew that they want to be involved in some of that stuff. So it spells out that in these 3 roads, Red Grade Road being County Road 26, Dome Lake Road being 26A, and what we call Evans Road, County Road 75, they call Little Goose Park Road. Their name is for that road. So, it's pretty simple. I recommend the county enter into this for another 5 years. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
Any questions for Ken?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I move to approve and authorize the chair to sign the cooperative forest road agreement between Sheridan County and the USDA Forest Service Bighorn National Forest.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Madam Chairman, I think this is great to get this done and get this down and get it taken care of. The last time this expired, I was the chairman and it was during COVID. And we were trying to do some work on the road, couldn't get agreement with the Forest Service because they were closed during the situation. And finally, Amy and I had to get together and kind of sign an emergency agreement just for us to be able to continue working on the road. So it's really great to have this down and have it done so that we don't have to deal with it in a situation like that.
Yeah, the only thing that had really kind of stuck out to me was item F, provide for appropriate jurisdictional status of roads through transfer of easements and acquisition of easements by the appropriate party. So of course, it doesn't specify what. That made me a little nervous. I didn't know what that meant, but it sounds like it needs to be initiated by the appropriate party, and then there's still discussions, no agreement. So that was the only thing that kind of stuck out to me. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right. Ken, you again. We'll consider the appointment of Ken Muller, County Engineer, as viewer for the vacation of a portion of Banner Story Road, 60 feet wide, being 30 feet each side of the following described center lines, situated in the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 4, and the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 5, east half of the northeast quarter, and the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter. There'll be a quiz. That's Section 8, Township 53 North, Range 83 West. Ken.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Clerk's office took in a vacation request. It's been through their process and it's in form, and so it's on your agenda here to appoint me for the mover. I do know that of this road. I have been on it. It's, most of it's not there physically. You can't walk it. It's the original road from Banner to Story that was created years ago. It was, replaced by the State Highway Department when they built Tunnel Hill years ago. So it's your report. It's it.
I would look for a motion.
Madam Chair.
Try, go ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner. All right, let's go.
You get to read all that quarter southwest, there you go.
We'll get it. I move to appoint Kim Mueller, County Engineer, as viewer for the vacation of a portion of Banner Story Road, 60 feet wide, being 30 feet each side of the following described center line situated in the southwest quarter of Section 4, the southeast quarter of Section 5, east 1/2 northeast quarter, and the northeast quarter, southeast quarter of Section 8, Township 53 North, Range 83 West.
Second.
Very well done.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and we are adjourned at 10:56. Thanks, everyone.